We will get through this, I swear.
What are you doing? Getting us the hell out of here!
What is it? Just silly stories.
Two-sentence horror stories. New season premieres January 16th. Free next day.
Joining me today is accomplished actor Donald Heng, and he's back on the show to talk about his acting career, his amazing roles, and how he maintains a healthy lifestyle. Welcome back, Donald.
Thanks so much for having me, Christine. It's really good to see you again.
Gosh, this was in 2018. You came on the show, and we talked about your running, and we talked about when your passion began for acting. We talked about your role in Fatal Visit and Ghost Wars, and I think I remember all this. But yeah, so are you still running 5-6 times a week?
I am not. Unfortunately, I'm dealing with this weird leg thing that I obviously need to see the physio for. It's like 2 kilometers in. It's really straining, and that really sucks because it was my go-to method of keeping fit. I tried to supplement that with like going to gym and stuff. As you know, the gym's closed. Hopefully, I mean, I hear they're reopening now, but I did these online workouts instead during the time for the last year while I had this injured leg. And also I became a dad, so I have much less time to just go running.
Yes, congratulations. And you're also a pet parent too. So
I'm also what, sorry?
a pet parent. You have a dog too.
Oh yes, and she's right. She's right here.
I couldn't help but see. And what's is it a she or a baby?
It's a girl, Sophie.
Sophie. Hi, Sophie. Welcome to the show. Yes, no, but I mean, you are still working out, but not as much. Well, the gyms are coming back, right? So, yeah, so you're very busy, and I want to congratulate you on your role as Christian in 2-sentence horror stories, and tell us what attracted you to the role.
Thank you. Yeah. It's interesting because initially I had auditioned for the role of the boyfriend. So the story is about, well, the character I play is Christian and his boyfriend's name is Ben. And, Christian is a very technologically addicted human being, as much of us are. He relies on technology for everything in his life. The vacuum is controlled by his phone. He has this app that tells him to drink water periodically because he forgets. He works out of this 3-monitor screen and laptop and everything is done virtually. Kind of really like what we do during COVID times. But yeah, he's really reliant on technology, and he doesn't really spend much time out in nature and whatnot. And his partner is quite the opposite. And so for their 3rd year anniversary, his boyfriend gifts him this mysterious plant, and he kind of just rejects it. And it goes on to show the consequences of that. And initially, I auditioned for Ben, the boyfriend who gets in the plant, and I felt more connected to that character, to be honest. I just I don't know why I felt more connected to that character, but whoever watched the tapes decided that I was probably a better fit for Christian, and so they asked me to read for him, and I did, and they wanted me for that role instead. And honestly, at first I was surprised because I didn't feel like I was him, and second of all, I felt like I was scared of the role a little bit because he's the main character for this half-an-hour episode, and you see him pretty much at every moment, and a lot of times he's acting by himself. Like there's no partner for you to act opposite with. So I've never done that before, and I was kind of worried about it. But the experience as a whole ended up being great, and I was very happy that I got this role instead of the other one. Actually, I got to deal with prosthetics and this transformation of becoming this kind of plant monster kind of thing, which happens. Spoiler alert. So yeah, that was a very, very fun experience. Definitely unique amongst all the stuff that I've done.
Yes, and I understand the plant spits at you or something. Is that right?
Yeah. And that was a weird thing too. I mean, they had a squirt thing and just held it in front of me. And it was actually my makeup artist who was tasked with doing this. And yeah, I guess it's just weird because you have this thing right in front of you, you think it's gonna hit you in the eye. It's all just black ink looking thing, and I really just like wanted to squint each time when it was coming up. So I actually asked them to like, because the director signals her from behind my back, and she goes 3, 2, 1, squirt. But I said, can you just not say it? Just signal it so I don't know, because I kept closing my eyes. I don't want to get squirted.
Well, it's really cool, the trailer. And, like, so how did you prepare for the role? Like, how did, it's like, was it like a challenging role? Like, so how did you do it? How did you do it?
Gosh, I don't think anything different than anything else I've done. There really was no added challenges on top of it. Like I was working it up to be a challenge, that the fact that I had to work by myself, but really it was the same method. And yeah, I'm not sure I have anything to add in that regard.
No,
Yeah.
it's wonderful. And so you're in another film, which is Sight, because your first feature film, I understand, was Fatal Visit, correct?
Mhm.
And now you are in the movie Sight, and it's based on a true story about an eye doctor, right?
Mhm.
So tell us about the role. How did you, what attracted you to the role, and how much was there research? Like, based on a true story, like tell the viewers.
Sure. Well, sidebar here first. Fatal Visit was first feature film, and I only mentioned this because the second one, I knew I booked it the last time I met you, and you had
Oh,
asked me, "Is there anything you can talk about?" And I was like, "I don't think I can talk about this yet."
oh,
So that
oh,
ended up being, yeah, I remember sitting with you in gosh, what is it called? Central City Brewing, I think we were
yeah,
at. Yeah, and
yes.
you had asked me that question, and I was gonna say it, and I was like, no, I don't think I should say it. And well, anyways, it was The Art of Racing in the Rain, which is one I ended up booking. Anyways, so yeah, this feature film that's coming out, we don't have a set release date yet, but it should be the second quarter of this year. And yeah, like you said, it's based on a true story about a really famous eye surgeon. He's done thousands of surgeries in his lifetime, restoring sight to thousands of people, including Dolly Parton. Like, he personally did surgery on Dolly Parton. And so the movie flashes back between modern day, where he's trying to develop new methods for helping people restore their sight. He's also a deeply religious person, so a lot of the methods at the time kind of they needed, I guess, stem cells, and it was something that he was morally opposed to. And so he was trying to find new methods that would, create more opportunities for people who didn't have this, who didn't believe in stem cells or thought that they were like morally wrong. He was just trying to develop more methods for restoring sight to people. And so the modern story is told in that frame, and it flashes back to 1960s, 1970s, when he grew up in China during a very tumultuous, period. And I play his father, his younger father, back in the flashbacks. And yeah, I think the most interesting part about this project for me was, or the challenging thing rather, is doing all of it in Chinese. I grew up speaking Chinese, but to any native tongue listener, they probably know I'm not native. So it was a challenge in of itself. And it was, in terms of doing research for it, it was really about finding reading books about the time period in which I lived back then, and just the different ways, the cultural differences of how I would show love to my child, you know? So I got this role pretty much like a month after I knew I was expecting my first kid, So there was lots of emotions flying through, and I was trying to relate to the character in a certain way, but there was a real big difference between, raising your kid in the West versus raising in the East, and also that period of difference, 1960s versus now. In short, it really was the difference of, not showing your kid love as much. Like, it's not that you don't love your kid back then, it's just that it's really centered around tough love. You want your kid to grow up to be independent, you want to make sure he gets the opportunities, but you're not coddling him at any moment, right? So it's very, very different than how we raise kids here in the West, and how I interact with my baby. And it's so that I think that was the main challenge in the area in which I had to really research, so to speak, and trying to build this character. Yeah.
Wow. And you play Dr. Burton, is that correct? The
No,
role?
Dr. Burton, that's a different project.
A different project. Okay, that's coming up. So, okay, so that would be American Dreamer, right? Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. So,
But
yeah.
I mean, I am a doctor as well. So that it is confusing. So this doctor who's an eye surgeon, his father back in the day was also a doctor, which is how he kind of got influenced by his father and became a doctor himself.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's why you're confused.
Yeah, so exciting. Such depth, deep, getting into real character. So how did you get into character, like into this movie with Sight?
How do I get into character? It's easy when you have really good actors to work with, I guess, and actors who are on board with just kind of letting you zone in and zoning in themselves. And I mean, I wouldn't elaborate too hard in terms of getting into character. Like I don't feel like it was huge challenge in of itself. I mean, I felt like the settings that they kind of built for us kind of helped. The languages I was speaking, I was never speaking English on set, kind of helped. Yeah, so I didn't find that was a challenge itself, and I don't really know if I can even share a method of like getting into character. Just
Wow.
yeah.
Well, it's so amazing. Congratulations. And do you speak
Thank
Cantonese
you.
and Mandarin? Yeah.
In general, I do. Yeah, but in this movie is all in Mandarin. Yeah.
Wow. And Fatal Visit too, wasn't it? Or when you
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. It was in Cantonese and Mandarin, that one. Yeah. But that was a
wow.
smaller role. So I wasn't as scared of that one. This one was, after I got the role, I was like, man, because I speak Chinese, I speak Mandarin, but I can't really read. I read like 50% of it. So, when I got the script and knowing all the lines I had to say, just like, yeah, it was definitely a challenge. One of the greatest challenges, I would say, in my career.
You're multi-talented, and to speak another language opens up more doors, more opportunities, and it's wonderful that since 2018 you've got so many roles, and you talked about the art of racing, or art of racing in the rain. Can you tell us about that? Like, was that it's about a veterinarian, right? And how much fun did you have working on that film?
Veterinarian? I wasn't a veterinarian.
Yes.
Is that what you
Oh
said?
no, but based
Oh,
on a veterinarian, right? Kevin Costner, is that correct?
not veterinarian. So Kevin Costner voices a dog.
Yes, a dog.
Yeah, so the whole story is told from the dog's perspective, this golden retriever, and then he talks about his owner, who's played by Milo Ventimiglia. And I play a really rich dude who Milo is a racer, like a sports car racer. And so I play a really rich like businessman who decides to buy a team, and then I employ him, is my character. And yeah, I mean, that one was really fun, mostly because I got to work with Milo. Like I during that time, remember my wife and I were just binging through This Is Us, and my wife already like had a crush on him back watching like Gilmore Girls or whatever. I didn't watch that show, but I know he's on it. And yeah, so it was at the peak of us just binging through that show, and I booked this movie. I'm working with that main actor on it, so that was a pretty big deal for us, and definitely celebrated. And my wife gushed about it. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I wanted to talk about that because you mentioned it. And also now American Dreamer, tell us about that experience for you.
Yeah. So that one was filmed on the island, and I guess I couldn't say too much about my character without spoiling some plot points. But as you mentioned before, I play a character named Dr. Burton. I'm a doctor in a hospital, and all my scenes were with Peter Dinklage, and I think that was just the highlight of my year, really. Again, it was just one of these serendipitous moments where I was binging through, Game of Thrones, and I just finished watching the whole season, and he is like my favorite character probably. And then I booked this movie where I have scenes with him. So it's just cool moments to be able to share. And yeah.
Oh, wow. And,
Yeah.
so, your quote, I believe, you really have to love what you do to pursue this kind of lifestyle.
Mm.
And you're doing it. You're living it. So how does it feel that you've had so many roles and it's a lot of hard work, right? I mean, as an actor, professional actor.
I think so. I mean, there's really two sides of this coin for me. One side, I am like, actors don't get enough credit because for every booking that you have, there's like 25 to 30 other auditions that, you skip out your other day job for, you pay someone to coach you for, you tape it, you edit it, you send it out, you get no response. It's absolutely devastating at some point. So that's one side of it. But the other side of it, I don't want to, make it seem like it's so important because quite honestly, it's there's so many moments throughout my day where I'm like, wow, I am lucky though. Like who gets to say that they spend the last 3 months pretending to play 35 different characters and actually getting paid to work on one of them, Like I do make believe for a living, which is ridiculous in one sense of it. But the other part of it, I don't want to not recognize is that there's so much hard work that goes behind each role that you even get, right? And yeah, I mean, I consider myself extremely fortunate for the last couple of years. And in addition to that, just the kind of timeline we're at with Asian Americans and the kind of projects we're allowed to, or we have the opportunity to audition for and stuff, these days is quite outstanding. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And do you have come from a support, like a family support? Like, does your family support you and what you do?
Yeah, they do. Fortunately, I mean, I think a lot of my actor friends, their families are relatively supportive. But if you're talking about Asian peers, I don't know many that are, and especially many that are as supportive as mine. And they were always so excited to see the next thing that I have. They're always so happy for me when I actually get a role, and they like to know. Yeah, they're really quite involved, and I was very lucky with that. When I first started, my mom was like, you can do this, but you get 3 years. If you don't book anything, I want you to get out of it. And I agreed to it, even though I was like, no, I think I'm going to keep going. But it was 3 years before I booked my first role. And
Yes.
then, sorry, yeah.
No, I just love it. I'm just really thinking of you being a father, new father, and trying to work out, and then you're a pet parent, and Sophia, and you're married. How do you balance your active lifestyle? How do you do it?
You know what? I'm not doing it very well right now. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. My wife, my kid is 12 weeks now, and I work out where I can, but I hop on the scale like last week, and I was astounded. I mean, I look at it. It was, I want to say like 11 pounds more than the last time I hopped on, and I was just shocked. I was like, okay, yeah. A lot of times when I gain weight in the past, people would say, yeah, well, you're building muscle. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, probably because I'm going to gym a lot. But I know that 11 pounds was not muscle.
No. Well, you look
Yeah.
fit, Donald. You look great, and and I'm really happy for you. And I mean, is there anything else you'd like to add? What's your next projects? And
Um, I'm working on a Hallmark thing next. That's all I can say. That's I don't even know the extent of it. I auditioned for one role and then they offered me a different role, and I haven't even looked at it yet. But I think that's what I'm going to be doing next. But yeah, it's been a busy start to the year. Yeah, it's been a busy start to the year, and we'll just see what happens in 2022.
well, it's going well for you. And if people want to, watch you, where can they go?
If they want, sorry, if they
Yeah,
want
they
to
want
what,
to
sorry?
follow you, they want to watch you, they want to see
Oh, sorry. Yes. So yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Heng Donald, Heng, and then Donald. And Twitter would be the other way around, Donald Heng. You can follow me and check out some light updates and super cute videos and pictures of my dog and my
Aw.
kid. Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful talking to you today, Donald. And I want you to come back on the show and we'll talk about the Hallmark movie and more,
Sure.
So
Yeah, we'll do that sometime. Yeah.